setting new standards in podcast excellence. You have joined the WBT, fully focused on business and taxes. Here is your host, Michael Lodge.
And welcome to the WBT. This is Michael Lodge. I'm so glad that you've joined me this very, very fine day. At least it is here in South Carolina. It's beautiful blue skies, nice and cool outside. Perfect day. So I came out from Burbank, California. I drove from Burbank to my home here in South Carolina, and it took me 3.5 days with 3 dogs. Wasn't too bad. It was okay. It was fine. It was good just to be on the road and drive through all the various states and see and listen and sit at the coffee shops and listen to people talk, and it was just fun. I enjoy every time that I do it. I know it's going to be a long trip, so I always try to plan my trip out so that I have something different. And when I finally got to South Carolina on Tuesday afternoon, Wednesday morning I got up and I said, okay, it's chore time, because when you live on a big piece of property like this, there is always something that needs to happen. And since I haven't been here for 4 months, I literally had grass that was very tall. Well, I'm going to preface that by saying that I think the majority of my grass is not grass, it's all weeds. And weeds have a mind of their own where they want to grow and they want to do whatever they want to do. So I had to go over some of the property a couple of times because I just couldn't get them down to where I needed to be. But I got it all done and I accomplished it. And even though it took 3 hours, I didn't realize that when you're on the tractor that long, how stiff your body becomes. Because you are being moved and jerked and pushed in every direction when you're on the tractor going over land. But I got it done, and it looked really, really nice. It still looks nice, even to this day. Everything's very green because they've had so much rain here. They've had so much rain that the lakes are full and everything looks really nice. Look, in fact, if you were to look out of my yard, you'd think that I live in a park, because that's literally what it looks like, a big old park. And it's very nice to come home to that when you've been in Los Angeles for 4 months and you've literally just gone from hotel room to office to hotel room, and not doing much more, because during tax time, your time is all tied up with tax clients. But it's good to be home, and it's good to be back on my property. I have one piece of property that I decided to do something with. It's a very flat piece, and it's way back in the corner of my property. And what's nice about it is that it's already flat. So I decided to build 7 raised beds. And these are pieces of wood that you cut into place. They're 8 feet long, they're 2 inches thick, and they're 10 feet deep. So you screw all those things together and clamp them all together and make them into boxes that sit above the ground, and then you fill them with dirt, and you're able to grow really cool stuff. So I decided to take that one piece of property and make it into a productive part of my property, and to start growing some vegetables and flowers and other things like that. And it gets perfect sunlight. Perfect sunlight. So yesterday I started building. Now the first one that I did, it looks like it's gone through a war zone. There are still screws sticking out. There are things that just do not look natural on these pieces of wood. I went out and I bought a really high-end screwdriver, wireless screwdriver, the ones that run on batteries. But however, I didn't buy the right end that goes to that particular screw. And so I couldn't figure out, why is it that my screws are burning up at the top and they're not going into the wood? And then I found out, wrong end. So thank God for Home Depot, because they have everything, right? So I drove down to Home Depot, got some technical screwdriver support, and came back with the right head. And then all my screws went in perfectly. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. They were done. Well, not that fast. I mean, it took me a whole day to put all 7 of them together because they're really heavy. I have not lifted boards since I worked in the furniture factory when I was a kid. And these boards are really, really heavy. So I was lifting and trying to balance and trying to screw, and I got them all 7 done. So I hauled them back there with my tractor, set them up, and now they're ready for the dirt and the manure and everything else that needs to go into them, and the seeds and what kind of seeds. I get to choose what I want to plant back there now. So that's what I'm going to go online today to find out if I can't buy some seeds. But I looked at it last night, stood back, and said, my gosh, you really accomplished something. You did something. And I look at that with my business also. I did something, I accomplished something with my firm. Even though I've had a crisis in my firm, I rebuilt, and we did better the second time around. And I look at the boxes that I build, even though the first one is scary to look at, and I pity the flowers that are going to go in there, but they really, really look nice, and I can hardly wait now to plant. I accomplished something. I accomplished something because the whole tool set of my life has always been a hammer and 1 screwdriver. That's what I have. And if the screwdriver wasn't available, then I had a butter knife. That is the technical part of my tool system that I have had throughout my life. So now I have a really fancy screwdriver, and I have a saw, and I have my hammer. I am ready to build anything now. Which I may have to do because I have this porch in my front where I decided to build a porch the majority length of my home, and it's over 10 feet wide, and but it's very, very long. However, I had to fire the contractor because he never accomplished what he said he was going to do. In fact, he built it so that my steps are out of code. The length between post to post, well, I have several different lengths, so they're not within code. And the structural part of it needs to be strengthened up. So I got my own building permit, and I had the inspector come out and look at it, and he gave me 5 things that I need to do before I can continue on, which I'm so glad that I did. But I had to fire the contractor because he did not accomplish what he promised that he was going to do. So now I'm the contractor. So thank God let's just be honest. I'm going to have to go out and get some help on this because it's just too big, because I have another porch to build in the back because it's just too old and dilapidated now. But at least I know that I can accomplish a building task that I put my mindset to. Accomplishment is so important. I look at people on Instagram and Facebook and all these other places who are constantly showing bling. Let me tell you, bling is not accomplishment. That just either you're in debt or you saved up your money so you could buy that bling. But what is your accomplishment? I want to know, what have you accomplished? I don't want to see your watch. I don't want to see your fancy ties. I don't want to see any of that bling, bling, bling stuff. What I want to know is, what have you built? What have you accomplished? Ask that question to yourself, because that's the most important thing. What have you accomplished? Here's a good story. I have a friend who just started a taco truck in a little town called Easley, South Carolina. It did so well, so fast, because she put her heart into it and she put her soul into her food, because that's what she loves doing. That taco truck became so busy where they were literally feeding between 150 to 200 people a day at lunchtime. Because she loved what she does. And so she's busy every single day. Even to this day, she's still busy. The problem is, people saw her success. They saw her accomplishment. So when she went in to pay her taxes into City Hall, they said, you got to move out in 30 days because we don't have an ordinance to govern you. And it wasn't that at all. What had happened is that there was one lady who owned a Mexican restaurant who was upset because she saw the success and the accomplishments of my friend. So she tried to shut her down. She had ties in City Hall. When people see that you are accomplishing something, they become scared. Isn't that silly? People become scared that you accomplishing something. To me, I would turn around. Okay, I would probably say, okay, what am I doing wrong? What can I do better than that other person? And I would build on my product and make it better instead of complaining. That's what business is about, right? We do things that are better than what other people do. Luckily, where she's at, the owner knows the mayor, and the mayor of Easley came down, I guess, and was going to eat at her place and try to see what he could do to help this new taco truck. But then something else opened up because she was so good that somebody heard about her plight. They said, listen, I'm closing up my hot dog store. Here are the keys. If you want it, you can put your taco place in here. So she started doing that. And it's going to be even a cooler experience because now she has a place to set up not tents, but where she can put up awnings and tables and people can sit outside and enjoy her tacos. But you see, if you do something that you love and you're really good at it, word goes so fast throughout the community. When they hear about what you're doing and then they go and taste what you have produced and they say, my gosh, this is the best taco I have ever had, it goes like wildfire. When people hear about your accomplishments, they want to go to where you are accomplishing what you're doing. So when I see these pictures of people showing off their bling and sitting on cash and all this other stuff, it turns me off. It turns me off for one thing, and let me tell you, this is a tax tip now, okay? So listen carefully. The IRS uses that as evidence when you don't pay your taxes. When they see you buying stuff of bling like that, I have literally had IRS agents pull out pages and said, listen, your client's buying this and he's buying that, but why can't he pay his taxes? I tell you, the more that you brag about your bling, the more trouble it can get you into. But if you show your accomplishments, if you can show that you are accomplished as a tax person, if you're an accomplished accountant, if you're an accomplished cook, a chef, if you're an accomplished mechanic, whatever you do it well and be accomplished at it and have an accomplishment that you can be proud of. That's all it's about. Don't show me bling. Bling just tells me that you have accomplished nothing. If you're going to brag about your bling, it's worthless. Doesn't mean anything. Gosh, I remember I had a tax client down in Irvine, California that was a mortgage banking company. And throughout the whole period of their time, they were losing money. Loss after loss after loss. Because they just didn't know what they were doing. And the other problem is they begin to be showing off their bling, their Rolex watches and everything else. But then I found out they were buying these used. But they wanted to show that status. But they could because they could not show their accomplishment. And that was a sad part of life. They went out of business a few years later and started another business. But they learned through the process that showing your bling just doesn't cut it. It's kind of like fake news. If we can use that analogy, it's like fake news. It's that part of life that you try to show off, but in actuality, you haven't accomplished anything. So think about it. Think about your accomplishments. Be strong and get them done. That's all you have to do, is just be strong. Hey, this is Mike Lodge with the WBT. If you have any questions that you want to ask me, just send it to my email at mlodge@lodge-co.com, and I'll try and answer you right back. I'm pretty good at answering my emails, unless I'm out mowing grass. But other than that, I'm pretty good. So everybody, hey, go out and be strong, and we'll talk with you soon. This is Mike Lodge with the WBT.
This is brought to you by Lodge & Co., a business and tax advisory firm where your success is our goal. Call us today toll-free at 888-681-1518 or visit us at www.lodge-co.com and learn more about what we can do for you. Lodge & Co., your source for sound business and tax services.
Be strong, take courage and fly. 'Cause now's the time to stand. Walk in the promised land of life. Be strong. Now's the time to stand. Walk in the promised land.
Thank you for listening to the WBT with Michael Lodge. Join us again tomorrow as we explore more about business and taxes. Follow us on iHeartRadio and go to our podcast website at www.wbtpod.com and listen to all of our podcasts and read our blogs.
World of business and taxes on the